Welcome back to Sorry We're Booked. I'm Lainey.
I'm Jessica. And today we are going to dive into our most recent read. It was also part of our book club. Of course, we're going to go into more detail about Abby Jimenez's new book, Say You'll Remember Me. We just finished reading it, so it's fresh on our minds. But before that, we'll kind of do a little recap of what we're currently reading, kind of what we're into right now and what we're looking forward to. So what do you got?
I am in the middle. I'll say this. It's so sad on my Goodreads. I have 6 books that I've started, but I will say I'm actively reading 3. So the biggest one right now is The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which on a previous podcast episode, I kind of went into that. It's one of her more serious books or serious romances. And so reading, and then There Were None, thanks to Miss Jessica over here. Agatha Christie, Agatha Christie. It's only like 120 pages.
Is it really?
It is so itty bitty. I picked it up from Half Price Books. It's itty bitty, and I'm just flying through it, and it's really, really good.
So good.
So thanks for the recommendation, sister.
Good. So good.
And then I am listening to Fearless, the last of the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. So I'm about halfway through that one right now.
Oh, awesome. How's it so far?
I really, really like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say I have a coworker who she said it's her favorite so far. Like she burned through it.
It's very, very good. And it's been neat to see because I think Lauren Roberts started the Powerless trilogy about 4 years ago, and she was like a newbie writer.
Wow.
And her evolution of writing style, this book, I mean, I'm listening to it and I'm like, this sounds like Sarah J. Maas. Like it's got the depth and the figurative language and just... I don't know. It's a lot more mature than the other books. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yep. Yeah. That's amazing. That means she's doing like one a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's just cranking them out.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm on the wait list for that. And I want to do I think I got access to the reading, the physical or Kindle version, but I want to do the audio because I've done the audio for all the other ones. I'm like, I don't want to,
And the Kai voice is
it's good. It's good.
Kiss.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Especially if it's the same narrator.
It is.
Okay. Then I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Yeah. I mean, it's like 3 months out. It'll get there sooner. I love it. Okay. So I am in, I guess 3 books too, but I'm like, because I forgot. I always have one on my Kindle going. So right now I am listening to, this one's called Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. And I'm reading this one because the cover just drew me in. But 2, I've seen it everywhere, like on Goodreads. I'm seeing people I know read it and then all over Book Talk. And I just want to know what's wrong with us as lady readers. Like, it is messed up. I don't know what's wrong with us. I'm here for it. I'm loving it so far. But man, it's messed up. It's about... I don't even know. It's called like they say it's like a TikTok sensation, but it's a dark, funny stalker romance. Never thought I'd say I would read a book about stalkers.
First it was serial killers.
Oh, that Butcher and Blackbird?
Yes. Now it's so stalkers.
Good. See, and I like this one because it's got a very similar banter, but the audio is so... It literally feels like Butcher and Blackbird. If you love Butcher and Blackbird and that like witty banter and the dual narrator, you would love this. Unless you don't like a lot of the trigger warnings on it, which... And they even...
Out.
Yeah, it's weird. I love it. I'm here for it. I feel like this is going to be a 5 stars for me. But if you've read it and then you know me in real life, don't judge me. I mean, don't. Yeah,
it's a safe space.
Yeah, safe space. And this is a weird book, but it's safe, and I love it. So Lights Out by Nevessa Allen.
Okay.
I'm also, of course, I'm always reading a fan fiction, so I got one of them. It's
love
a long one. Like, I feel like I've been reading it for days, and it's like, you're 20% in. I'm like, what? God, what else is going to happen? I don't know, but it's one of the, like, most popular ones, and it was written, like a long time ago.
Of Hermione?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay,
Is there any other fan fiction out there? Not in my world.
What's it called?
It's called The Fallout. And apparently, and I could be wrong on this, if you've read Manacled, which is, I think, one of the most well-known fan fiction of Hermione, I think his character in Manacled, the High Reeve, is based on the personality within the Fallout. So it's like,
okay.
Anyways, it's really good so far. It's just long. So which is why I'm behind on the third book, which is Rebel Witch, I think is what it's called. It's the second one of the Heartless Hunter. I have that one that I like need to get into, but or no, I started reading it and then I got sidetracked by fan fiction, and so I'll go back to it. But also,
are you reading it or listening?
Kindle.
Okay. Kindle.
So, but I want to listen because I listened to the first one and it was good. So yeah, I think I got like 11 days left to read it. I'm like, how am I going to do this? Read. I know. But yeah, so all really good. But Lights Out is the one I'm like really invested in right now. Into. So yeah, that's so cool. It's good. Don't judge me.
Well, I guess, what did you give a rating on Goodreads? Should we read our our ratings and stuff and then get into the plot?
Yeah. So for me, I did 4 stars on this one. And as y'all know, I love Abby Jimenez. The Part of Your World series is hands down, I mean, top notch for me. I think I said this on the most recent April reads I did, because I did add this in my April reads, of course, that I still love Yours Truly the most. But, for me, I read Abby Jimenez knowing I read Abby Jimenez for like the Hallmark movie plot. So like, it's going to be cute. It's going to be a rom-com. It's going to be happy. There might be like a tragic element in it, but by no means is the book tragic, in my opinion. Very heartfelt. So I gave it 4 stars, and I said I love the characters and the premise. It was a fun, quick read, which sometimes you just want a dopamine hit. And that's what I consider these. And we'll get into it. But the only negative detractor I said was all the modern references. And like I wrote modern references, colloquialisms, and slang. It was distracting at times. Yeah. So that's where I knocked off a star. So that's my rating. What about you?
I gave it 5 stars. Nice. I really, really like this one. Yeah. My review said I truly don't understand the bad reviews, because if you looked online, a lot of people were hating on it. They said it was their least favorite Abby. They just didn't like how everything perfectly ended up going the way it should have at the end, and it was tied up with a little bow. But I said maybe it just spoke to me in so many different ways, but I loved every second of it. I read it in 3 sittings. I like literally just cranked it out, and like I think it was like 3.5 hours. I just flew through it. Yeah. I loved their relationship, loved the portrayal of sacrificial love, and I loved the ending. So I don't know, maybe I was just in like a really good mood when I was reading it. Yeah. Sometimes that will affect like your ratings.
That's right. I have your copy. You gave me because you had 2 back to back. You did
5 stars. Yep.
I cannot say this book for the
Sunrise
of the Reaping.
Of the Reaping. That was a 5 star. Yep.
And then you read this back to back, and you were like, done. Here you go. And
I was like, here you go.
You're in a good mood. Yeah, that was your April. Yeah, okay.
Even though Sunrise on the Reaping was like horribly tragic, it was still a 5 star.
Did you read that one first?
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So then this was probably the perfect juxtaposition where I was just really digging something happy. That makes sense.
And that's what I love about Abby is you're going to get a happy ending. And I think, you said it earlier. I'll let you go into it, but you said it earlier how you think like the tides are changing on BookTok of people thinking, and I think that too snooty. Yeah.
Here's my little rant. I'll just say it now.
Let's get your soapbox.
Yes, right there. I'm gonna stand on it. I am all for if you want to dive deep into the language of the book or the plot lines or whether the writing is top notch. I am all for supporting that if that's how you want to read your books. I read for vibes, 1000%. I read for escapism when I'm stressed. I read for really cool stories. I read for just feeling emotions and being happy.
Thrillers when you can't take it out on others.
Yes. When you're feeling a little psycho and you just want to let loose. Yeah. No, but what I've seen on BookTok so much recently is these very influential book talkers and people on this platform just hating on, like, for instance, Abby's book. I just saw trash reviews left and right on it. And I'm like, there was nothing bad about this. And I just don't like it when people, what do we say, yuck each other's yum. Yeah. If you love a book, don't make others feel bad for liking it just because it doesn't have the most mature of language or the plot line is juvenile or whatever they're docking it for. Yeah. The same thing's happening with the Powerless trilogy. People are knocking it for being, poor writing style. And I'm just like, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining. And that's what reading is for the love of reading.
Yep.
You know,
love
like it. That's my soapbox. That's what I'll stand on. I totally do see where you knocked off a star though for the modern references.
Yeah.
Because when she started mentioning Rhysand,
she did.
She
was like,
compared the main character to another fictional character.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's just too much for me. I can't do that. I understand that she's probably trying to relate to like the Gen Z.
That's the thing. Yeah. And I think I said that too, of like, it feels like a late, because I don't know her age, and I hope I'm not aging her too high, but I feel like someone in their late 30s, maybe early 40s, like not much older than, myself, is trying to be trying to relate to maybe her daughter. Like I think she has a daughter or two that are younger, and so I don't know if like maybe they helped, or like she was like, hey, what would you say in this situation? But also I think the characters were supposed to be a little bit later in life, so I'm like, it's not a 21-year-old saying this, but also I don't know, I just have a hard time when it's like in the middle of a sentence you're like talking like normal, and then you throw in like it's giving or bet or dead ass. You're like, what? What?
I get it.
That's like the skibbity. I'm like, what? I don't know what you're saying.
People were taking that online and like giving this book like a 2-star, and I'm like, I don't think it's that extreme.
No,
I still
wasn't.
think I mean, we'll talk about it, but it dealt with very serious discussion topics, and so it's not like it's just a YA.
It's not
fluffy.
like have you ever seen? It's like a joke going around, like the Gen Z version of Harry Potter.
Yes.
The boy that was unalived or something. The boy who wasn't unalived, and you're like,
what?
You're like, what?
What is this generation?
So it wasn't like that level. But yeah, I mean, and that's something we've always said on this podcast, is we always wanted to create an atmosphere that like, hey, we might not agree with like what others think of a book, but we always are like, hey, this is our thought on it. And like even the last one of the last podcasts I did, I like trashed Magnolia Parks. I'm like, I hate it, but I also was like, hey, if you love it, I would love to like have a conversation with you, because maybe I'm missing something, or maybe like we just have different tastes, and that's okay. But I'm not going to be like, you're a bad reader if you love it, and you're a bad author. Maybe I said bad author, and I always apologize, because I always say I've never read a book, so I will never claim that this is the worst thing. I'm like, no, well, actually, I've never written one, so good on you. So I get that rant. Now with Say You'll Remember Me, we've talked about this previously, but just another recap of what it was about. You have, it's a grumpy sunshine, vibes of Xavier Rush, which is funny. You recommend another book with a Xavier, and I'm like, it just doesn't fit the setting in this, but whatever. Xavier Rush is a veterinarian. I always say the word wrong, like veterinarian. And Samantha is a client that comes in. I don't know how she inherits this cat. Like, was it just...
I think she just rescues it, right?
She just rescues it. I don't know what happened with it.
It doesn't have a butt, though.
It doesn't have like
a butthole.
A butthole. That's literally the premise of this.
I thought that was cute.
It was very random. I'm like she comes in with this cat. It's like a baby, and she's like, something's wrong with it. Oh, I don't think she knew that. She was like, something's wrong with it. It's not eating. It's like kind of dying. And then the vet takes a look, and when he lifts it, he's like, oh, this is actually a very serious problem. It's gonna die. Do you want me to put it out now or later? And she was like, no, like she was like, we can find the funds for it. And he's like, it's very expensive and yada, yada, just completely dismisses her. And she's like, I'll prove you wrong. And essentially makes this whole sob story on the cat. GoFundMe. And it goes viral because we come to find out she's like a marketing manager. So she's good at like PR and stuff like that. So it goes viral. She's able to raise the funds. My favorite part is like one of the last donations was from Xavier Rush, which was like, it was a hefty amount.
It was like $500.
Yeah. And when everyone's given like 20 and he just gives the last of it to go over the line, she's like, oh, I guess that's his way of apologizing. So she goes back, and that's where like the story kind of picks up. So that was the introduction of it.
He immediately asks her on a date.
I love it. I think I said that. I think I said that on the podcast.
It was just like, bam.
She's like, I bet you feel dumb. He goes, I do. Do you want to go out on a date with me? She's like, yes. Just Yeah, what, like they're fighting, and it's one of those like, I hate you too. You want to go out? Yes, absolutely. How could you not tell by my face? It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, takes her out on a date.
It was like the best day of their lives.
Yeah.
They got stuck in like an escape room together all night, and they were just talking. And then come to find out, we learned that she is moving from Minnesota to California.
The next day.
Yeah, the next day. She's leaving. The apartment's already packed up to go take care of her mom, who has early onset dementia. So that's the more heavier topic of this book is it talks about caretaker fatigue.
Yes.
I think really well.
Really well.
Yeah.
Not having experienced it myself, but you can kind of see it in other friends, and especially as like our grandparents and our parents are getting older, just what kind of comes along with that. And I thought she did an excellent job of that because, because the mother is so young, I would venture maybe early 50s.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe mid 50s. Really young. She has 3 children, right? 2 daughters and a son, and then the husband that all come around the mom because the mom said, I never want to be
in a home
forgotten. But and the grandmother. The grandmother's there too. But it's like a pretty aggressive, or like,
she doesn't remember Samantha when Samantha
like
comes
immediately.
back.
Yeah, like immediately. And so has good days and bad days. And so, the whole premise, the Say You'll Remember Me, I love the title because, well, one, I think of the Taylor Swift song every time I see it. But also, but also it's a juxtaposition because the last thing she says to Xavier is like, you need to forget me. Because he was like, I just had the best date of my life. Will you go out with me again? She's like, ooh, I didn't think it was going to go that well. I'm leaving tomorrow. And they both hit it off. Like, he had insta love.
Yeah.
He did, which usually I'm very against.
It was done well though.
It was.
It was like they had instant chemistry. A lot of it just lined up to where it wasn't like insta lust or like, I don't know. It was done in a very mature manner.
Well, and also I think like his friends met her on the first date too. Cause he's someone that like never goes out with anyone. And so it's one of those where when he texted his friend group of like, hey, I can't come out tonight. I'm going to, go on a date with this girl. And they're like, oh, where are you taking her? He goes, I don't know. I want to do something fun. They're like, oh, go to this putting green. Okay. And then they're all there. And she's like, what? Like, he's like, what are you doing? You're going to, run her off on it immediately. But they also love her. So he's like, them. It's like, that's why he kind of starts to love her. Is one, they had the best conversation. It went well too. The friends liked each other. She liked the friends. But then, also their banter was really cute. I liked their banter. I liked the juxtaposition and the immediate love on his part. Her, I would say it was close to immediate love, but it does kind of take longer for her. And so anyways, the premise of it is them doing long distance because she does. It's not going to stop after one date. He's going to stay in Minnesota. She's going to go to California because of circumstantial situations. Like because this is his own veterinary clinic. Yeah,
he just started it, put all the debt into it. It's his entire world.
Like he cannot just pick up and leave because he'll go like bankrupt. Yeah. And so what I will say is it's funny how people are dogging it for being so lighthearted because it actually has 2 different really deep elements. One, you have the early onset dementia, but 2, he comes from a very disturbing background where his parents completely neglected him. Completely narcissistic tendencies. They're the kind of people that essentially abandoned him completely as a child, like a small child, to the point where his friends' parents took him in. I don't remember what it was. If it was,
I think it was his best friend. Yeah, they ended up taking him in and then raising him. And then now his parents, now that he's made a success of himself, are trying to come back around and almost take credit for it. And so he's dealing with my mom keeps calling, my dad keeps calling, this kind of situation. I totally forgot about that whole part.
Yeah. No, I think the dad was physically abusive and emotionally abusive. And the mom was totally
just in
turned a blind eye. Yeah. And so even as an adult, and that's part of why he has his own clinic, is his dad was psychotic. That's why he became a vet.
Yep. He didn't want to deal with people, right?
No, it was the dad. They had a dog growing up as a kid.
Right.
Oh, it was awful. They had a dog a dog growing up, and the dog kept getting pregnant.
Yep.
And the dad would
drown them.
Unalive him. Drown him. And he saw that so many times. that he went to a vet clinic as a kid with his dog saying, can you please fix her? I have no money, but I can't continue to see this happen. Like, that's how psychotic the parents were.
That part.
But it's done so well in that, like, you aren't, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a beautiful way of describing someone that is so complicated. Because I feel like so many of these books, when the guy is just
tormented for no reason. Yeah.
It even has a Greek god vibes. Like, of course, every man in these books is like 6'4", right. Which I know very few 6'4" people. 6'4", built like stacked like a god, Greek god, perfect in every way. And then they're just broody and grumpy. Well, he kept a distance from everyone. But I love how she explained why and why he worked so hard. I mean, his work ethic is insane. I mean, he would work himself to death if he could. And I mean, having a husband, I think yours is too, they just never stop going. I think that's part of why I love Xavier.
I was about to say, I think you and I both have husbands where the one part I loved about this book so much, and I'll get into the second part as well, but we both have husbands that will go to the ends of the earth to afford anything that we would want, to pay to come see us, to sacrifice anything to make us happy. And so maybe that's why I related to it so much, is I saw so much of Michael in this character, and you probably Jason.
I did.
Where I'm like, maybe to other people this is like so unrealistic, and this is just, we're blessed with really great men, but I saw a lot of like the Christ-like sacrificial love from Xavier to care for Samantha, because it was easier for him to fly out to go and see her in California because she was taking care of her mom. And he would just, be working 80-hour weeks through the night, picking up emergency, care shifts on the weekends, anything to afford to go and see her. He'd show up looking like a shell of a human being because he's sick or just so tired from working so much. But all he wanted to do was just be around
just
her.
To get a few hours.
Just a few hours, even if it was like a 24-hour, weekend trip before he had to go back. That just resonated with me a lot, where I'm like, that's love. And if you've ever done, Michael and I did long distance for like 9 months. And if you've ever done long distance, I think this book, you'll resonate with a lot of it, because they described it perfectly where, they're both living their separate lives without each other, and they're miserable, right? They're just so sad. They're not together. He's working so much. She's taking care of her mom, which is just emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting. And they're just living for those weekends where they get to see each other, and it makes it all worth it because they love each other that much. And so I thought it painted long distance really, really well, where maybe if you haven't done long distance, you would be like, what the heck are they doing? That's so ridiculous that they're working so hard just to spend one weekend every couple months together.
Oh, yeah.
But then if you've done it, you're like, you just live for that, and you'll do anything to see that person because that's your person and you love them and you know that you're going to be together. You just got to figure out the circumstances to make it happen. So,
yeah, because I think when it was all said and done, after like a year and a half or a year, they had only seen each other in total, like either 4 weeks or 40 days. I know there was a 4 in it. It's very small. But it was beautiful. And because the other thing is, it's very easy as a reader to like look at the storyline and be like, oh, you can make it work. Just quit your job or do this and go cross country. But I loved this because it actually painted a very impossible circumstance of she could not leave her mother without putting all of the burden on her 2 siblings and her dad, of which her dad was already seeing the love of his life, not remember who he was. And if you've ever dealt with someone that has, that illness, it's something that they start to get violent. They start to get scared if any routine is off at all.
Right.
Her sister had children, 2 boys of her own, a single mother.
Single mom.
The brother was young and kind of reckless still, and just and didn't have a whole lot of money or anything like that, and so she couldn't leave her situation. He couldn't, because he was truly broke, because he put everything into this vet clinic, and he was the only doctor too, because he couldn't afford to pay someone else. So he got almost no paycheck, so he could staff 2 other ladies and himself. He couldn't even take a day off because then the clinic would lose money. So the only way he could sell his business is to go bankrupt, which, is just terrifying at, a young age. And he did not want to fail to prove his parents wrong. So you have this situation where you're just like, your heart felt for them because you're like, they can't get out of it. I don't know. I kept telling myself, I don't know how this is going to end,
right?
Because I don't see either of their circumstances changing.
The part that broke my heart the most was the weekend where they both flew to see each other as a surprise, and they show up at their like counter, apartments, and they're like, "Where are you?" And they're like, "I'm literally in California," or "I'm literally in Michigan." Surprising, and it's just like missed time together.
And he had the flu, I think, that time.
Yeah.
So when he showed up, he was just dead on his feet.
Yeah.
Almost like double pneumonia kind of thing. And she was like, "I'm just going to take care of you." And then he ended up sleeping the entire time she was there, just because he pushed himself so much. And I don't want to spoil the ending, because I genuinely felt like 70% of this book, I'm like, I don't know how it ends. I know it's going to
get together?
Give me a happy ending, Abby. Don't let me down. But I don't see how they're going to get out of these circumstances. And so it was really beautiful. I will say, now that we've been going through it, the one thing I didn't understand, and I don't think she goes into much, is why she's the middle child, and her brother clash so much. And I didn't understand. They did a really good job with the older sister of why she's the way she is, because being a single mother. But they didn't really go too much into why he was the way he is, because he was kind of
he kind of retaliated a
lot, and he was very immature, but also she was really kind of cruel to him. I'm like, what happened here?
It's a really good point.
Yeah, but it was one of those it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the situations where everybody was processing what was happening to their mom or wife differently.
Yes.
So maybe that was him acting out because he's seen his mom deteriorate so quickly, and then thinking, wow, I'm in my early 20s and I should be out partying, but here I am, just thinking about it different. I don't know.
It was. And that's something that I have one brother, but he's 13 years older than me, just different decades. So we never had conflict. So that's always something that is hard for me to resonate with, because I didn't have young siblings of what is it like to
see. I have a brother who's 2 years younger than me, and
was it like this?
Yeah, well, if we were put in a situation like this, I could see us button heads
really
a lot. Yes.
So then maybe that's why I was
and he's my best friend, so I can say that.
I love that.
It's we love each other to death, but I could totally see how you just get so frustrated with the circumstances and then just take it out on each other.
Well, and people handle stress differently, completely different. And so I will say, oh man, if you've ever been in long distance, or if you've ever had to be in a caretaker situation, I think this book did a fantastic job. I think you'd like it. If you're someone who's never been in long distance, maybe it might be hard to wrap your head around this, because I've done long distance and it was rough. I did military long distance, and that was rough. But at the end of the day, seeing, people do it whenever they have something to really have a vested interest, vested love in. And I will say I hate insta love, and I've said this many times, and I thought this was great. Yeah. And there was no miscommunication trope. They communicated very well, minus the whole missed flight connection, but it was also sweet because they were trying to surprise each other. One thing I will say, you cannot have poor communication skills being long distance. Nope. That's all you have is communication. So if you're bad at that, it's not going to go anywhere. So of course I love this, because this was the antithesis, complete opposite of miscommunication. It was good communication. Yep. So
just
I loved
bad circumstances.
I don't get people dogging on it. I love it.
People like to dog on what's popular. Let's be honest.
I agree. I am right there on that soapbox with you of hey, if you like Abby Jimenez, I feel like you would like this. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm reading some of the reviews and people are like, oh, I'm someone who I always get swept away with her style, but this one I didn't enjoy it. They weren't invested in the story or rooting for the characters. I was like, I loved it.
I was so the opposite.
I loved it. I was so invested. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm looking at the reviews. Right? It's 2.5 stars at best. Oh, well.
Ironic, not. Oh man, someone wrote 2.5 stars. Say you'll remember me was ironically not very memorable.
Oh,
I'm like, dang. They said a lot of family drama and trauma, family members with dementia, estranged parents, siblings feuding, long distance relationship, insta love. So that person does not like insta love. Whatever, I love it. Oh, there's also this is also again, because of Book Talk, I feel like Book Talk really leans heavily on spice. This was not spice.
Yeah.
Like this was closed door. Yep. I think maybe there might have been like one
just
scene.
like very small hints.
Yeah. But it's also because long distance, like I think that's what made me invested more is
it was more emotional connection.
It was like there was a deep, yes, bond. It was insta love. Like, I don't like storylines where they look at someone and they're like, I just knew she was my wife. You're like, okay, why don't you ask what her last name is first, bud? But with this one, I can overlook the insta love because it went just so beautiful. It kept building and building like a little avalanche of like, okay, it might have been insta love on a scale of 1 to 10, like very minimal. And it just grew and grew and grew. And you're like, oh, by the end of it, I genuinely was rooting for them of like, I don't know how you're going to wrap this up to where everyone's happy. You better give me happy. And she delivered. But I was so invested at the end. I read this very quickly too. Very quickly. Yeah.
I'm looking at this quote right here and I feel like it just wraps up the perfect, wholesome nature of the storyline of the romance. It says, it's from Xavier. I'd like to look back on my life and remember every single thing. But if I don't, I hope I remember that it was a love story and the love story was about you. Just gets me in the face.
Poetic. It really does. And I think he did such a good job with what he was saying too and how intentional, because with the mom and her dementia, she would still remember like really core memory. You hold on to the oldest memories last. Right. And so like she remembered her husband almost the whole time, even when she went back. And they would say that throughout of like, she would have a moment where she was like, I feel like this is a memory I'll always hold on to. And so he kept touching on that. It was beautiful. I don't know what people are. It was beautiful. If you can look over the bet and dead and, you know, all that, like whatever.
The Gen Z language.
Yeah. I mean, which I can easily, because like I said, it was minimal, but it was something that was
first like 3 chapters and then it died off.
Well, it also, remember, she's a marketing person, like manager for, I did love this. She was a marketing manager for like a mustard company. Like the Heinz, and then this random local mustard company that she was it's big on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter is like all these big companies, Twitter, X, sorry, I'll never be able to, how these big companies are really, like Duolingo was really big on it, and like all these companies commenting as a person, she was like that. So I get why they threw that kind of language because she has to be in order to be relevant. But I loved that, like random, that was such a random job for me. I was like, this is great. Yeah. Like she's just talking about mustard. But that was the kind of guy he was, is like she came and visited his apartment and she opened it up and he bought that mustard just to like remember her and support her.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet.
And she did say that at one point, he is the definition of if he wanted to, he would. That was Xavier. So I loved it. So I highly recommend it.
Well done, Abby.
Yeah, well done. As always, I look forward to whatever book you write next. Yep. This did not disappoint for me at all.
We loved it.
Like I said, you got 4 to 5 star here. I'm probably closer to 5 than I am to a 4. If I, probably 4.5 for me, because it was so beautiful. Honestly, I read it so quickly. It's a great read. I love the deep elements, but how they still kept it very, lighthearted, because you got to have that. You got to have the really difficult, you got to be able to balance that. Something traumatic with something like, but how did they persevere? And they were both strong in their right, because they did both overcome very difficult situations. One more present, one more past, but it was beautiful. So highly recommend it. We loved it. If you have read it, let us know what you thought on it, whether you loved it or hate it. We like to hear both of it.
Absolutely.
If you haven't read it, highly recommend, especially if you love Abby Jimenez, highly recommend it. If you don't, do it anyway.
Go check it out.
So good. So good. But that's all we had for us today. Unless, is there anything else you have? Nope. That was it. Say You'll Remember Me. The ending is so worth it. I love it. I love it.
It's so good.
But as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, send to your friends, and
we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.